Retired Vice Admiral Robert Harward, former Deputy Commander of U.S. Central Command and member of the Iran Policy Project at the Jewish Institute for National Security of America. Admiral Harward grew up in Iran, and he went to school in Tehran, so knows the area personally and professionally. It's great to have you with us, Admiral.
Good to be here.
Thank you very much for joining me. So, you watch these 7 days now of very intense attacks along the Strait in order to protect the ships that are going to be coming through there and to reclaim the Strait. How do you think the progress is going here so far?
Excellent. It reinforces that the administration can do whatever they want, and not only detracting from their ability to do anything in the Gulf, but to reinforce how weak they are in the IRGC. So the big unknown is to go see, what does Iran do next? And that will dictate the strategy going forward. Are we going to further escalate? And I think we should, but that's all in the president's hands. He can do anything he wants to Iran to force them to capitulate.
So we know that there have been retaliatory attacks against U.S. interests in the region. What's your sense of how effective those have been?
Not very effective, and that's the telltale. Everyone's really still curious. What do they have left in missile drones with the continuous strikes? And it's shown it's been diminished considerably. When there is no response, then we know we've really got them and we can do whatever we want. But I think more importantly, behind the scenes, what's happening financially and what's happening domestically or diplomatically. Are the partners now contributing? And we're seeing more and more. And is the blockade and other measures going to strangle them financially to bring them to the table? So it's a very dynamic period in the campaign and in the war.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, because we know that the Iranian currency is at its lowest levels ever. I think it's basically worthless. They have had for a long time difficulty supplying water and basic needs to the people in Iran. So, the larger question, obviously, is always, can the regime survive all of this?
Let's hope not. And I think that's the end state. Yeah. So double down on that. Let's take a dash. Let's shut down their airspace. Let's close all their borders so nothing happens. Add that and then reinforce the military targets. Yeah. When you know they can't respond, then turn on the IRG itself. Use their targeting to go after the third, the fourth, the most tactical level. And then I think you'll really force them into capitulation. But their lack of response and what
How long do you think that takes?
Well, it depends. If you tie all that together, then you shorten the period. So I won't be hypothetical, but if we bring all those efforts together, you will accelerate it quickly. And without any money, any access to the outside world, if they take those steps, you could accelerate it very dramatically.
So the question that brings to mind is, will anyone step in to help them? China obviously gets a majority of their oil from Iran. There are some indications that they've been helpful in some regards in terms of siphoning off some of their oil storage so that it doesn't, go bad essentially in those storage tanks. But will they do more? Would China do more to help Iran to keep them alive?
Well, they're dancing on both sides of the table. They want to help them. That's their access to oil, but they don't want to get too aggressive with us because we have strings to pull against them. So I think they're playing it very straight. They want to stay out as much as they can, but they need that oil and energy at the cost. Now, what's unique about China, they've been able last month to drive down their demand by 20%. Yeah. So they're playing the game also. But when we drove them where they got to have, and we've completely isolated Iran, that's the point when we have the max influence on the regime, and we'll see how they respond accordingly.
So one of the other ways, obviously, to make Iran's power obsolete in the Strait is to run these other pipelines so that people who do get their oil through that area can get it other ways. I think the best estimates are that it takes, around a year to make that happen. What's your sense of how concerted that effort is? And is it going to make a difference? Can you make the Strait obsolete?
Well, ultimately, of course. But as you said, it's going to take time. Mm-hmm. More money, you could do it quicker. And so the end state, that's less important. I think what's more important is the nuke issue, the funding of the surrogates, and another tell other than Iran's response. What are the Houthis going to do? Right. What's Hezbollah do? If that's all quiet on the net, then we know we really got them. And I think back to your point, we'll finally make the Straits of Hormuz somewhat irrelevant, but they may go after the Bab al-Mandab with the Houthis yet. So you got to look at all of that. But I think we can make their influence in the Straits less relevant, therefore making the surrogates, the missiles and drones, and the nuke issue top of the list.
A few times, I've brought this up before, but I want to get your thoughts on it. A few times during this war, the Gulf states seem to have impressed upon President Trump that they wanted him to pause, that they thought maybe they could get some diplomacy here. They're getting these incoming attacks, U.S. bases, but also other areas in their countries as well. And maybe they got a little nervous about how far this thing's going to go. Where do you think they are now as we carry out these aggressive round of strikes? Are they with us? Are they doing it forcefully?
You've hit the million-dollar question, Martha, and this is the concern, because they've seen through our political system ebbs and flows, and so they can't depend on us for the long game, so they've got to hedge their bets. But I think now, as they watch Trump going towards this end state of a government transition, a government collapse, a government in Iran that renounces this, they'll get behind it all the way as long as they know he's going to stay to the end. Yeah. So he has this unique opportunity in history to really change the equation for the long term. If they know that's going to happen, they'll be all hands on deck. And in your
mind, we got to go, and I know you have to go, but in your mind, is there any real change here? Does anything really happen if you don't get rid of this regime?
Well, you see, like the president said, you deal with different people now, but you're absolutely.
But they can't get a document that anybody backs.
And I don't want to use the word regime. I want to say the government of Iran, the regime is the IRGC, no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
We need a government in Iran who renounces the policies and programs of the, we're not going to have a nuke. We're not going to threaten the commerce. We're not going to have missiles and drones, and we're not going to fund surrogates. That's what we need, and that's what all the GCC is hoping the president declares and works towards, and then they're with us.
Admiral Harward, great to have you as always. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
All right, thanks for watching. Check out my new podcast, Hanging Out with me, Sean Hannity. The big interviews, the debates you won't get anywhere else. Like and subscribe for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.